Trace Bourbon Whiskey from Kentucky. As a matter of fact, did you know that there's more barrels of bourbon in Kentucky than there is people? Stay tuned if you want to learn more. ASMR style. I can't do it. See you guys in a bit. Hey everybody, welcome back to Whiskey Quest. If you're new to the channel, my name's Antonio. In this channel, I'm going to review whiskeys from all over the world. I like to add a touch of water to all of them just to see if it changes. You'll never know unless you try it. So if that's something you like to watch, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with the bell notification so you can stick around for more videos. Let's move on with this review. I just found out about ASMR. I didn't even know that was a thing until my brother told me about it at work today. It's I guess people just find it soothing when people whisper sweet nothings into your ear and you touch certain things. It's weird as hell, but hey, people are into it, whatever tickles your pickle. Alright, let's move on to this review. Today we got Buffalo Trace. This is a Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey bottled at 90 proof. That's 45% ABV, and surprisingly enough, for $25, this has a cork. This is an NAS bourbon whiskey, rumored to be around 8 years old. But according to the straight bourbon rules, it has to be at least 2 years old to be labeled straight. But if it's under 4 years old, it has to be on the bottle here, some kind of age statement. There's nothing on here, so as far as I'm concerned, this is a minimum of 4 years old. This is their entry-level bourbon, but it is highly recommended by people. So let's give this a nose and a taste and see what it's all about. But before we get into the nose, let's take a quick look at the color here. I'd say this one has a really nice medium kind of copper kind of color. So Buffalo Trace has two different mash bills for their bourbons. This one right here has 10% or less rye in it. So we're gonna expect a lot of sweetness coming out of this from the corn. Let's see what we get. I definitely get that corn sweetness. Some woody notes too. There's like an orange zest going on, and right in the back, right after that, there's some honey notes that are hidden. Maybe a little bit of maple. I don't know. Let's see what we get on the taste. Cheers, guys. Very nice. Right up front, I do get some rye spice. Even though it's only 10% or less, I do get a fair amount of spiciness going on. It does have a watery mouthfeel, but it does have a fair amount of flavors going on. For what is it, 90 proof? I think they bottled it perfectly for an entry-level bottle. Yeah, right after that spiciness, you get those woody notes. I'd say there's a little bit of a chocolatey kind of note going on. Like somewhere like around a dark chocolate, but then that's taken over by that wood char that comes out right after that. The finish on this is more somewhere like around from the short to medium side. It doesn't last too long, but while it's there, it's pretty good, and it finishes with a nice wood char. This has a short to medium kind of finish. Doesn't last too long, but while it's there, it's pretty good. It has I'd say there's like a lot of wood char in the finish with some mintiness that I get right on the side of my mouth here. Pretty good stuff. I'm gonna add 1 drop of water to this only and see what happens to that. So this distillery has been open for over 200 years now, but this bourbon was introduced not too long ago, in August of 1999 to be exact. And this distillery was one of the few they were allowed to distill during prohibition for medicinal purposes. Which reminds me of a joke. A man was used to drinking a shot of whiskey every night before bed. He did this for years, and his wife was worried that he was becoming an alcoholic, so one day she decides to bring him 2 shot glasses, one filled with water, one filled with whiskey. The man looks at his wife and she says, "I want you to see what's going to happen." She grabs a worm, drops it into the one with water, and the worm just floats around, swims in the water, nothing really happens to it. And then she says, "Now look what happens when I drop it in the whiskey." Drops the worm in the whiskey, the worm immediately dies. And she says to him, "Do you see what happens?" So the man thinks for a second, he looks down and then looks at his wife and says, "If I drink whiskey, I won't get worms." I thought it was funny. All right, let's move on to the whiskey. On the nose. Oh yeah, a whole lot sweeter this time. There's more corn sweetness going on. A lot more of that honey's coming out. Still woody. And that citrusy note that I was getting at first, it's still there, but now all that sweetness is kind of muting it a bit. Nice, let's move on to the taste and see what happens. Cheers. Alright, so that mouthfeel is still very watery, but I do get a fair amount of flavors still going on with some water. I get some cinnamon spice going on right up front this time. And then there's something sweet and tangy right after that, sort of like dried apricots. It does fade pretty quickly. Again, those woody notes come over and take over that apricot note that I was getting. And then there's that char again. Pretty nice. The finish is still on the short side. I'd say it's a little bit shorter than before, but it still finishes with that wood char. And this time, instead of the mint, I'm getting like some spice on the side of my cheeks here. All right, so time for my final thoughts on this bottle right here. Buffalo Trace in 2015 won a gold medal for best NAS bourbon. And I can see why, because even though it's only at 90 proof and it's their entry level bottle, it packs a punch of flavors. That finish could have been a little bit longer, but hey, I can't complain, man. For 25 bucks, I'd say if you haven't tried this yet, definitely go give this a try. Just pick up a bottle, something that you can have on your bar, be a daily sipper if you want. And for 25 bucks, this is definitely gonna go on my budget playlist. I'll link that up here if you guys haven't checked it out yet. All right, everybody, that's it for the review for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, as always, give me a thumbs up, share with your friends. Don't forget to drop me a comment below. Let me know what you guys think about Buffalo Trace. I'm sure many of you have tried it, and if you like what you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button with the bell notification before you leave, so you can stick around for more videos just like this. Cheers, everybody. Make sure you drink your medicine and stay worm free.